everybody, welcome to the United Stand. It's finally that time. It's here we go on Rasmus Hojlund. And I tell you what, this is the biggest signing of the summer. I'm absolutely ecstatic. I'm over the moon to have Rasmus Hojlund as a Manchester United player, and we'll talk about why in a moment. But hotter than the sun FC, 90% FC. Get the suntan lotion out, because if you followed this story on this channel for the last 2 months, I feel like saying you laughed at me when I said this deal was going to happen. Well, who is laughing now? We're all laughing together because Rasmus Hojlund is a Manchester United player. And it's so interesting because, look, this space, when you get it right, I'm not going to sit here and say, I told you so, even though I did. For every deal that you get a good bit of information on, there's plenty that you won't. Sometimes it falls in your lap. Years ago it did with Alexis Sanchez. We knew that was happening 2 weeks before it was official, and we said it and we went with it and we were right, and we've been right about Rasmus Hojlund. You know, Amrabat, don't know anything about it. Not got an inside track on that, but with Rasmus Hojlund we did. It started at the start of June, late May, and obviously we started feeding that out, that it was hotter than the sun. He was going to come to Manchester United. And people will say, well, there was links, and obviously there were links. There were links to a lot of players, but we had it on the official that this was literally hotter than the sun, that Ten Hag had chosen this striker, that he wanted to come to Manchester United, and that Atalanta and Man United were going to get working on this deal. Why has it taken 2 months? I think United were prioritising other deals, because that's just the order that they did things, and they felt that the Hojlund deal would come after Onana and Mount. And yeah, his obsession with United, Ten Hag's obsession with him. And remember, at this time, we were still in the race for Kane. There was talk of Osimhen. We might have been bought by Qatar. So, look, what you've got to remember about Hojlund is it's not a third or fourth or fifth choice. The Man United plan was to bring 2 strikers in. The Ten Hag plan was to have a senior striker and an inexperienced striker. And Hojlund was always the player that he was going for. The reality is, maybe we don't get that senior striker in this summer. Maybe they don't ever come in. Maybe they come in January. Maybe they come in after the sale. But the money wasn't there to do that. And United went ahead with the Hojlund deal and kept working on it. I think some people think that Hojlund is the alternative to Kane. That was never really the plan. We were working on Hojlund when Kane was still a possibility. It's been worked on for a long time. Ten Hag was obsessed about getting Mason Mount for the last few months of the season. Hojlund falls into that category as well. You know, you can't be sat there at the start of June and late May saying, hotter than the sun, this is going to happen, when you're still negotiating for Kane. He wanted 2 strikers. People have started talking about the price. Not really interested in the price. Interesting. Get it in the comments if you are. I think if we bought him for 40 million, if we bought him for 80 million, there was going to be talk about he's not ready and all that. That's the pressure of being a Man United player, and I'm sure we're all going to back him. I've done the video on the channel about what I think he brings to Manchester United. But for anybody who hasn't watched that video, I think what you're getting with the striker here, I like the fact he's left-footed as well. He's very physical. He runs the channels. He can carry the ball in with dribbles and progression. I think his shots on target percentage is really good. His touch in the box is really good, comparable to everybody else. But obviously, he's not scoring as many goals as I think he should do, because I don't think he gets as many chances as he should do. United have got to learn with a player like Rasmus Hojlund. I think if we carried on like we did last season, he'd still be a valuable asset because of his work rate and his ability to, you know, run the channels, carry the ball, get into the box. But we've got to become a team that can score goals. And to score goals, you've got to create good chances. And I think with Rasmus Hojlund, he can develop with Manchester United. He can develop as a player at Manchester United with Manchester United, in the sense that we don't create as many chances in the box as we should do. And he needs to live off that as well. So in some ways, that fusion of learning together is really important. And I think Ten Hag needs to do that. It's a really interesting dynamic. I think many people would have gone into this summer thinking Harry Kane, Victor Osimhen, and I probably did as well. Coming out of it with a 20-year-old striker, I get the concerns, but you've got to just put it into perspective that these are the sort of signings United should make anyway. Even if you get Harry Kane, you should still be getting Rasmus Hojlund, because Harry Kane would be 30. Man United should always be trying. The exciting thing about Rasmus Hojlund for me is that this is the sort of signing we should be doing more often. I'm tired of looking at Leicester and other clubs buying these younger players who become really good, and you go, yeah, we pay 80 million for them. And I think, why don't we get them before that? We've got a developmental coach. I understood it with Mourinho. I understood it with Solskjaer. You know, not developmental coaches, but we've got a developmental coach. We need to bring in more players. I don't think it's a coincidence that Garnacho developed really well last year. He's looking to do it with Mainu. Look at some of the more senior pros that have developed. Wan-Bissaka's game has developed. Other players have developed. you've got to give Eric. We do need experience in the team, of course we do, but we've got to bring in these types of signings. When you've got a creative developmental coach like Ten Hag, give him 20-year-olds like Rasmus Hojlund who've got so much potential and let him realise and develop that potential. I think it's such an exciting signing. I think he's going to create a lot of buzz. I think he's going to be very raw, but I think he will become a fan favourite very quickly just because of his enthusiasm, his absolute desire to be a Manchester United player as well. Look, PSG, some people might want to congratulate the director of football, the CEO, the Glazers, Ten Hag. Ultimately, I don't care who you want to congratulate. You've got a player here that PSG want, and he's chosen Manchester United. And that doesn't normally happen, but that shows the work that Ten Hag put in a long time ago with this guy to say, look, I want you here. I want to develop you here. I want you to be a big player here. And that's what happened. And also, he is a Man United fan. He really wants to play at this football club. He's really passionate and interested in it. And we do it with anybody. Look, even the flops, the Fellaini's, the Di Marias, the Lukaku's, they were always given an opportunity, and everybody always gets an opportunity as a new signing at this football club. So Rasmus Hojlund will always automatically get that. He'll come into the football club, the fans will build him up, they'll protect him, and look, any player can come in and flop. If in 2 or 3 years' time he's not scored goals and it's not worked out, I mean, that it's a possibility. I think it's a slim possibility, but it's a possibility. But he'll be given the protection. He will be given from the manager as well, but he'll be given that protection and encouragement and an environment from the fans. And I think it will work. I think what we've got to do to make this work is what we've got to do as a team anyway. We've got to be better in the final third. We've got to have more of a structure in the final third. And we've got to look in the final third to create penalty box chances. And if we do that, I think it will benefit the Rashfords and the Martials, but Hojlund, for this money, will play a lot of football and it will benefit him. Let's not compare him to anybody else. I think he's got a very distinctive skill set. He's not Erling Haaland. He's nothing like Erling Haaland. The only thing about Erling Haaland and Rasmus Hojlund that's similar is the surname. He's a striker. That's it. Very different type of striker. I think he's going to be really effective in the press. The way that he presses is really intelligent. It's not just straight line running. He closes off the angles. He's only 20 as well. I mean, in 2 years' time, he should be a completely better player than he is now. But there is raw attributes that we've spoken before. I think he's such an important signing for Manchester United. And we're desperately crying out for a striker as well. I don't think the standard should be set too high. I think actually he might exceed expectations. But the fact that he's 20, the fact that he's still got a lot to learn, it just suits a club like Manchester United. I'm thinking Garnacho. I'm thinking that sort of a player. He's a little bit ahead of Garnacho in the fact that he's played a bit more football in Serie A than Garnacho played for Manchester United last season, I think. But it's that similar sort of thing. And the players such as Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, Casemiro, these players around him will help him a lot as well because they've got the experience. So, look, it's really exciting. I'm really excited about it. And I think the mindset to think is, we need to be buying these types of players. We're Manchester United. We should be developing players. And it's really, really, really exciting when you do that. Also, we've got a manager that does that. We've got a player that really, really wants to be here. And we are trying to build something for the long term. And if this works out, fantastic. But what I would say is, and I've seen some of the detractors already, there's people going, we needed better than this. We needed an experienced goal scorer to come straight into the team. I agree, but you're looking at it like it's the alternative. The reason we haven't gotten a Harry Kane or a Victor Osimhen is because we're owned by the Glazers and it's a limited budget. That's just the honest truth. But even if we bought Harry Kane, there still should be a Rasmus Hojlund. Like, we need 2 strikers. You could argue we need 3. I think we've done 50% of the work up front. And that can be Hojlund's advantage because he's first in the door and he can get working. But ideally, Erik Ten Hag would have gone for an Osimhen and an Ivan Ferguson, or a Kane and a Rasmus Hojlund. What he's ended up with is the younger striker because we can't afford or get the more experienced striker. And beyond Kane and Hojlund, who else would you really go for as well? And they're not easy deals to do. And they're certainly not easy deals to do without the money that we need bringing into the club. So, look, I wouldn't be looking at it and going, we ended up with Hojlund when we wanted Kane. I think it's very clear that, well, it's very clear to me, and you should be able to work it out yourselves. When we've been saying hotter than the sun Rasmus Hojlund for 2 months, if it was hotter than the sun 2 months ago, we hadn't decided to pull out of the Kane deal then. We were going for 2 strikers, and that's why I know and have been very confident that we would get this player done. I wouldn't have said hotter than the sun in June if I'd have known we were still in the race for Kane or Osimhen, because you'd think, well, we might just shift. This is a signing that Ten Hag wanted. This is a signing that Hojlund wanted, and that's why it's been very relaxed on here and very confident on here for a very long period of time. And I'm very excited about it now. And I'm glad it's done. You know, I'm really glad it's done. Let's get him into Carrington. Let's get the shirt hold up. Let's get him into some of these pre-season games. I don't think he's going to be starting against Wolves. I think that's probably going to be a bit too soon, a week and a half of training. But you put him on the bench. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. You're struggling against Wolves. You're 2-0 up against Wolves. You bring him on for the last 20 minutes and we gradually feed him into the team. Perfect. I'm excited. I hope you are as well. Saturday night's all right. Saturday night's all right. Make sure you smash a like on the video for Rasmus Hojlund. We got it done. Hotter than the sun. Get the suntan lotion on. We're cooking. Thanks for watching.